was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I do not fear not one of y'all. They thought I was underdog. I did not fear not one of y'all. I'm too competitive. I like the narrative that I'm the best in the league. Who you comparing with? That isn't fed them. Top of the throne, it is me. How you moving slow when it's speed? I just been bringing the heat. I just been bringing the. I just been bringing the. I just been bringing the. Bringing the. Bringing the. Bringing the. Bringing the fire. We're bringing the fire.
Stop me. Go!
요즘 사람 시기와 질투 Too clean with the drip 난 좀 배로 그러면 난 좀 about it go no respect on my name 우리 눈빛부터 달라 I don't play no games
나 주저하지 않아 no bring the loose 말이 너무 많아 우리 실력으로 증명해 전부 백관도 noise
뒤에서만 떠들어 감당 못해 절대 넌
Man I keep it slick 그 태도가 날 설명해 그저 앞만 보고 달려 피할 곳 없어 그냥 부딪혀
뒤에서 씹어대는 게 너희들 듣기 발이 떨려 그럼 언제든지 call me 준비됐다 준비됐어 지금부터 알려줄게 소리가 내 attitude 이거 내 attitude 숨길 게 없어 그대로 봐 Our attitude 내 방식대로 쓸어 담아 전부 안 되면 그냥 갖다 박아 한 대 말고 knockdown game over 우리 따라오라면 바꿔야 할 걸 attitude 난 22세기 범상치 않은 Korean Nine on the scene You'll be watching how I do it When I pull up on the street Stay flexing with no care They be getting on their knees Bowing down to make it fair like
느낌 자체가 달라 Check my free, check my drip, check my wrist day 내 태도는 ice cold 감당 못해 feeling 직진 내 all day 내 keep it slick 그 태도가 날 설명해 그저 앞만 보고 달려 피할 곳 없어 그냥 부딪혀
뒤에서 씹어대는 게 너희들 듣기 발이 떨려 그럼 언제든지 call me 준비됐다 준비됐어 지금부터 알려주겠어 이거 내 attitude 넌 거대 attitude 숨길 게 없어 그대로 봐 Our attitude 내 방식대로 쓰러 담아 전부 안 되면 그냥 갖다 박아 한 대 말고 knockdown game over 우리 따라오려면 바꿔야 할 걸 attitude
손을 뻗어 reach for the right yeah yeah
Feel the rise jump to the sky 우리 빛나서 높이 fly
목소리를 높여 sing it right tonight
준비됐다 준비됐어 지금부터 알려주겠어 이거 내 attitude We got that attitude 넌 got that attitude 숨길 게 없어 그대로 봐 Our attitude 내 방식대로 쓸어 담아 전부 안 되면 그냥 갖다 박아 한 대 말고 knockdown game over 우리 따라오려면 바꿔야 할 걸 attitude
What's going on, everybody? Oh, yeah. We got dramatic music playing. We are back. We're streaming. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Welcome back. Welcome back. Man, this music is so hype. Let's get excited. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? I'm Will Awake. This is the long-running Bedrock Edition Survival Minecraft Vanilla Realm. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Hello. 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 Man, that music gets me so hyped. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. We're here at the spaceship. We're on the main end island. We're at the spaceship base, the spaceship storage system. This absolute insanity. And we got some fun stuff planned today. Today's going to be a very silly, honestly, kind of a ridiculous stream. The only goal for today is something that is so incredibly unnecessary that there's no real reason for me to be doing it at all. But I want to, and I think it might be kind of funny. But we're going to do some science today because I have no idea what's possible. So we're going to have to figure it out. And that is to make a jack-o'-lantern farm, the most useless farm you can imagine. I don't even need them as a light source. We've got plenty of sea lanterns. But we're going to try it anyway. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Here we are. Here we are. Let's see. It's been a couple weeks since the last stream where we did some stuff. Most recently, we built a blaze farm, decorated it a little bit. I want to head there because I've done some additional decoration off camera, which I want to show off. So that'll be fun. We'll get into that. Let's see. Okay. So there is one thing. I got a ton of comments. I got a ton of comments telling me that instead of putting hay bales underneath carpets to lessen fall damage, I should use powdered snow. And the comments are absolutely correct. The reason that I had not done that initially is because it didn't used to work in Bedrock Edition, actually. I looked it up after I got all those comments because I was like, man, like, it would be nice if we could do that. Turns out they fixed the bug in December of 2023 or something. So I could have been using this for quite some time. So we've got some powdered snow here. I want to go to the blaze farm and replace the hay bales with powdered snow. That's going to be one of the things we do. Take a look at the design that I did there. But the other thing that we want to do is make a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns. And the reason for that is because we're working on filling our light sources box. Yes. You may recall that the reason we needed a blaze farm in the first place was because we needed to craft copper bulbs and end rods, both of which need blaze rods. And now you can see in this light sources box, we've got everything we need. We got a full stack of everything except for lava, which is unstackable, of course, and jack-o'-lanterns. Arguably a stupid thing to keep in the box. I'll accept that. I will take that. It is kind of a dumb thing to keep in the box, but I needed to fill a slot. And it is technically a light source, and it is kind of natural and, you know, fits perfectly between the glowberries and the shroom lights in my box. So we've got to build a jack-o'-lantern farm. So we're going to try and figure out how to do that. But first, let's head over to the blaze farm so we can punctuate that that little adventure. Put a bow on it. Of course, I'm going to have to go all the way back there. Here we are at the castle. Oh, frame drop. Never ye mind. We're just going to let the castle load in for a minute here. Lovely. And as it loads, The frames start to get better. But yes, we are, of course, in the castle base. As you may have seen in previous streams. Oh, there's SpongeBob hanging ominously in the distance, as always. In previous streams, we've been working on the industrial area. Still a lot to do here, frankly. A very lot to do here. But I can show a little bit of the progress that I've made. I've just been working on this one facade here. This is the moss farm, the moss and pale moss farm. You can see we've got the pale moss creeping up the side here. I think I want to extend that even further, all the way up there. We obviously still have to do this whole facade. We got to do all this. There's so much to do. But it's coming together. A lot of our copper is oxidized, which is nice. I don't love it all being this bright, fully oxidized green color. So I'll probably do some selective scraping and waxing. But I'm not going to do that today, most likely. The one thing I did do was I filled in all the glass of the windows and I put in black concrete behind the glass. I think it looks pretty good. Because I'm using glass panes, they're connecting to the concrete, which is okay. Maybe not ideal, but I don't have a ton of space. I don't think I really have the space to go another block in there. But I think it looks kind of cool, actually. It kind of creates this glass pane kind of, grid look, which I don't hate. Still a lot more detailing to do here. I want to add some drain pipes. There's like tough walls look really cool as downspouts. I want to do some of that. I want to break up all of this brick, throw in some granite patches, some just more texture, crumbling brick parts and things like that. But we'll get there eventually. Not going to do too much of that today, but I wanted to take a peek at it at least. It's coming along, Obviously, there's a ton more that needs to be done in this area. But if all goes to plan today, we might be putting a little pumpkin and or jack-o'-lantern farm maybe in here or maybe in here. We'll see. We'll see how much room we need if we can come up with something that works well. But before we get into that, I got to do this powdered snow thing. I've been using what are they called? Hay bales? I've been using hay bales because the powdered snow trick used to be bugged in Bedrock Edition. Now it's fixed. It's been fixed for a year and a half. I got to go with the times. So we're going to change that in a couple of places. The first, of course, being here in our nether hub. Because, of course, we have our fast travel options up here, but if we drop down here, ouch, we land in our hay bales. Our hay bales under carpet here. But as a lot of commenters pointed out, powdered snow will completely negate that damage. So let's give it a shot. Should need 9 of these, which is a full row. And I'm just going to go ahead and... Is this as fast as they break? Yeah, I guess so. We're going to pop these out and replace them with powdered snow, see if it works. In theory, it should work. Let's give it a try. Thanks to everybody who commented about this. I genuinely didn't know that they had fixed it for Bedrock Edition, so it was nice to realize that they had, and hopefully this will be well worth it. So let's see, if I go back up here now, and I drop down, I should take absolutely 0 damage, and in theory, no durability either. Oh, look at that. Perfect. And it doesn't seem to slow me down meaningfully or anything. Awesome. Cool. So that's that. Put these buckets back in here. I have some cauldrons on one of the wings of the castle where it snows, which is where I get my powdered snow from. So I'll have to replenish that next snowstorm. But in the meantime, let's head to the Blaze Farm. You can see, here we go, Blaze Farm. I've got it labeled. We've got it in our fast travel directory here now. So we can just head along here and eventually we will arrive at the Blaze Farm. And to speed it up, I can even fly a little bit. Don't tell. Don't tell anybody I'm not using my soul speed, my soul speed pathways. Ouch. And here it is. You can see Blaze Farm this way. So this way we shall go. And it's quite far this way. It's about 1,000 blocks in the nether. That was like the closest blaze spawner I could find. But it works. Gets the job done. There is one other thing I have to address. But maybe, actually, maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait till I'm back at the castle for that. Teaser for later. You can see I'm eating golden carrots now. If that's a hint. But we're just heading down this long nether tunnel until we arrive. Perfect. At our little Blaze Farm atrium. And right here, this is another situation where we have, ow, we've got wool under here. So let's, or not wool, but hay. So we're going to replace this as well. We're going to replace this as well. We got plenty of powdered snow. Oh, nice. Middle click works with the powdered snow. That's very convenient. All right, we'll put the carpet back down, and then this should be that pretty much done. Excellent. So, I did a little bit of building off camera. Last stream, I tried to decorate the Blaze Farm a little bit just to replace all the netherrack with like nether bricks and stuff, just make it look a little bit nicer. But then off camera, I felt inspired. I wanted to make it look even nicer than that. And so here we have the Blaze Farm in all its glory. Nothing too crazy, you know. I just tried to give it a little bit of life, a little bit of texture. So you can see we've got like these little lava bits poking through the nether brick fence here, giving some light. I think that looks pretty cool. We've got some, what is this, mangrove? Oh, cherry wood. We've got cherry wood here, giving a little bit of texture. It works pretty nicely with the nether brick, I think. And then just a little bit of, this is mangrove. Yeah, mangrove wood, which blends kind of nicely with the netherrack, just to make it feel a little bit more textured. Nothing too crazy. Then, of course, I decided to do tinted glass. I tried to make it look a little bit like a flame or something. I think it looks okay. I think the nether brick, like, texture, little asymmetry here makes it look a bit better. And then I also widened it. It was too wide before, which was not symmetrical, which I did not like. Now we got 3 wide, and it works. Works well. We come down here, hit our blazes, get all the blaze rods we shall ever need. They all flow right into here. Bada bing, bada boom. Perfect. There is still a little bit of like clumping. The blazes don't always come down, but the reality is it hasn't been an issue. I already have as many blaze rods as I need, realistically. So I'm not too worried. Oh, Callie, hey, welcome. I'm sorry to hear that your brain isn't letting you live, but I hope that this is at least a nice little getaway. And you never need to apologize. I appreciate that you show up. Always. But of course, no pressure, you know. It looks like I'm missing a piece of netherrack there. That's bugging me, so I'm going to try to fill that in if I can. Let's just grab one of these right here. And let's scaffold up. Oh no, I forgot! Oh no! Ah, this is the problem. I hate powdered snow. Well, it's great for stopping fall damage, but falling in it is pretty annoying. All right, let us pop that there. Excellent. Some of my scaffolding fell in the snow. Okay, there we go. All right, let us do that. And here we go. Perfectly done. Perfectly done. So yep, this is the finished blaze farm, or at least as finished as I have any interest in making it right now. Added a little bit of detail, added a little bit of interest. Just, you know, makes it feel a bit nicer to be here. And I think it looks pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. You know, it's simple. A lot of nether brick for sure. But it works. Gets the job done. And I think it looks, you know, it looks better than just nothing, featureless. We learned from experience, true. All right, so now that I've done that, let us head back to the castle, which is, again, a long flight through the nether, an even longer run. But I've got a bunch of rockets, so we'll try to make it as quick as we can here. Haven't been doing too much else, I guess, in Minecraft. I've been, you know, kind of just working on, like, filling all the boxes and stuff a little bit more. I got all those light sources that we needed, which, of course, that leads to the goal for today, which is get a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns, which is a silly goal, but I think it'll be kind of a fun kind of silly, hopefully. And here we are, back at the base. So let's head on through. Let's get some more rockets, because I use them all. Flying through a 2x1 must feel so good. You know, you get decent at it when you do it a million times. There is like a sweet spot of just soaring, which is very satisfying to hit. All right, here we are. Oh, the castle's still loading a little bit. I'll give it a second. This is the most resource-intensive area by far. All right, feeling pretty good. So we can... Actually, I will replenish some of my snow. I have this little balcony up here in the castle. Let's get a nice aerial shot. Nice. Wow. Ooh, ah. So if we head to this level, here's all our powdered snow. Let's get as much as we can, then the next time it snows, we'll get some more. Not the most industrial powdered snow farm, but it has been plenty for me. See, I just got a lot of it there. So that'll be fine. We'll get some more next time it snows. I can switch over to my overworld helmet. And we can pop this right in here. All right, so, yes. Now, again, I must address something. Last time, I talked about a comment who called me out for eating cod instead of golden carrots after I've been playing this game for 6 years. I've been playing this game for longer than that, frankly, but I've been in this world for 6 years. And yes, I was still eating cod. And in the video, or in the stream, I said, you know, my problem is I don't have enough villagers to get a lot of golden carrots easily. Because like a fool, I didn't realize, or at least I didn't think about it or investigate it at all, the idea that I could just craft them. I have so much gold. I mean, maybe not here right now, but I have a gold farm that I have infinite gold. The only thing I didn't have was carrots. So, and I've like never made a carrot farm before, which is absurd. So I just I have like this secret little wheat farm here back in the horrifying redstone nightmare zone. I have this little wheat farm and this place where I used to age copper. Now with trial chambers, I don't even really need to age copper itself. I can just get fully aged and waxed copper from a trial chamber very easily. But this was how I was doing it for a while. And this was also where I was getting all my wheat from, mostly to make target blocks, honestly. So I went down another layer and made a carrot farm. And now I have all the golden carrots I could ever possibly need. And all the commenters who said that I could just be crafting them, you were totally right. And in this regard, I was and am still a Minecraft noob. Why is it the castle takes longer to load and not the world spaces? Do player blocks have difference from regular generated blocks? That's a great question. I don't really know the answer. I assume it's just because I have a lot of like redstone and like entities probably. I'm genuinely not entirely sure because I don't have once it's all loaded, I don't have any performance issues in here. But I also know that like my friend who used to play on Switch, he would come in this castle on Switch and it was like unusable because it was so laggy. So not entirely sure. I would guess it's all the redstone stuff. I don't know. There's just a lot here. These chunks are just like so full of stuff. There's stuff like, you know, all the way from world height down to the bottom of the world, basically. There's like various mechanisms in this like, you know, 4x4 chunk area. It's kind of crazy. So we got our hay bales that we don't need anymore. I'll pop these in here. So the crazy, silly goal for today is to make a jack-o'-lantern farm so that I can finally fully fill my light box, which all I need are jack-o'-lanterns. So what I want to do is pop into creative and just experiment a little bit with jack-o'-lanterns because I don't know how they work at all. I genuinely just like don't know how they work. So let's give it a shot. We're going to go into this close-up mode where you can see me in my room, of course. Certainly not in front of a green screen. And like that, we're in the creative testing world. This is the other thing I was doing recently. I was experimenting with making a like piston feed tape kind of thing that was fully vertically tileable. So for instance, if I turn on this stone generator, the idea is that this thing can push blocks over in a way that's completely vertically, like one high tileable. And the reason is because I have a tree farm where I push tree trunks, and some trees grow taller than others. So having like a single mechanism to push them causes issues sometimes. So I was trying to do something like with that. I don't know. I'm going to have to keep tinkering with that. But what we're here to do is play with pumpkins. I've never actually made a pumpkin farm. You remember when jack-o'-lanterns were just the default pumpkins? That's crazy. I actually don't remember that. I was probably playing at the time, but I don't think I ever came across that. That is pretty funny though. Okay, so how do you make a pumpkin? So with pumpkin seeds, I guess. And farmland? Do you need water? You probably need water, right? I don't even know. I don't have any pumpkins. I mean, I have the ones that I've made for my helmet. That's like pretty much it. I have like a little pumpkin patch next to the church. That's like pretty much it. So if I do game rule, random tick speed 1,000 or something, this should happen fast. But now, is it not going to grow? Does it need somewhere next to it to grow? Okay, yeah. So it does seem to grow. I'm surprised this farmland doesn't need water. I find that a little suspicious. Like maybe the random tick speed isn't, or maybe just because it has something planted in it, it doesn't decay. That would be my guess. Okay, cool. You need the hydrations. Yeah, it's weird. Like, it seems like it's fine. Like, I think because there's something planted there, it might never decay, which is weird. Yeah, see, these ones, like, because I have random tick speed so high, these ones go away immediately. But if I put, like, carrots, if I do, like, okay, I can't do it fast enough. But if I put farmland here and put carrots in there, and then turn my random tick speed back up. Yeah, so it looks like this is also not decaying. So maybe farmland with stuff planted in it won't decay. And because pumpkins do like the stem thing, right? Like if I break this, then it'll decay right away. But this thing, because you never actually break the stem, it seems fine. That's pretty cool. Okay. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's slower. Like I could try to figure it out. But anyway, I feel like we can probably observe this. Yeah, and so then the question is, I've seen people do like piston stuff. Like if I do a piston here, will this work? Will that grow? Okay, so it did. It just grew in the wrong place, obviously, which I should have seen coming. So if I do this, so the idea is when the observer detects a change to the pumpkin stem, meaning like a pumpkin has grown, then it will just pop these all. Yeah. Okay. Seems to work. I wonder if I can do... I'm going to turn the random tick speed back down just so it's not crazy. I wonder if I can do mud, because mud is technically slightly shorter than a full block in terms of hitbox. So if you put hoppers underneath, we should be able to pick up anything that comes out of here. Let's give that a try. Let's grab a chest. Like so. Like so. Like so. So now, I don't know if the pumpkin will grow on the side. Will it grow on mud? Yes, it does. And it crushes it and goes right in here. Sweet. Okay, that's cool. So that's one part of the problem solved. You know, I don't know how fast these grow normally. I don't need them to grow that fast. I could probably have a few of these little units and it would be like plenty. Because we're getting plenty of pumpkins here. Yeah, we still can't find a solution to mob stomping. True. Man, if you could like permanently... Like you can wax copper or something, you should be able to just like permanently till farmland, stop it from decaying, no matter who stomps on it. Okay, so we got a bunch of pumpkins. Now, I don't even know how this works. So pumpkins, you turn them into jack-o'-lanterns with shears, and then you light it with a flint and steel. Is that right? So let's see. If you place a pumpkin and then use flint and steel on it by itself, nothing happens. But if you use shears, then you get a jack-o'-lantern. An unlit, or I guess a carved pumpkin, technically. And then if I use a flint and steel on this... Wait, is that not how you do it? Oh no, you craft it, right? You craft it with a torch? Is that right? Crafting table? I want to be in survival for this, so I can actually see the thing, the crafting recipe. Okay, so how do I not know this? Jack-o'-lantern. Okay, yeah, it's a torch and a pumpkin, a carved pumpkin. So there's a few things I want to try here. One is... Oh, I'm in survival. If I jump, I'm going to die. So I assume a dispenser is not going to like place a pumpkin down if I power it, right? This is a total crazy test, but I just want to make sure. It's just going to pop it out. Yeah. Okay. That's useless. So we're going to have to place the pumpkins manually, because you also can't push them with pistons, right? Like that's the whole point of the farm design. Like the reason this works is because a piston, if it pushes a pumpkin, rather than actually pushing it. It just pops it off into an item entity. So we're going to have to manually place the pumpkins, but I think that's okay. Because in theory, if we have something like this with shears in it, and maybe an observer, perhaps? Let's say we have an observer observing what gets placed here, and then just super simple version. Whenever the observer detects anything, power this dispenser. So if I put a pumpkin here, will it carve it? It did not seem to carve it. Is this a manual only process? It seems to be. Okay, that's a little disappointing, honestly. I kind of expected this would be like sheep, and you'd be able to shear it, you know? Well, that's okay. I think we can still work around this. So I guess we won't need the dispenser because there's really nothing to be done there. But what if we did something where, like, you place a pumpkin, you manually shear the pumpkin, and as soon as you do that, it pops it off into a thing that automatically crafts it. Perhaps? Seems worth a try. So let's do mud here, hopper here, and then now I forgot that we also get seeds. So the seeds are potentially going to be an issue because I don't really want seeds. I just want the pumpkins. I also don't need to be wearing this. Okay, so, right, if we do that, and then I lost all my yellow stuff. Why? Okay, so if we do this, super simple. Oh no, because this is not going to work because we don't want it to pop it. So if I just did redstone off the observer like this, then whenever I place a pumpkin, it just pops it immediately. And then we get stuck in a horrifying observer loop here. So what I really want is, like, the first time you place something, the first time you place the pumpkin, nothing happens, right? Because I just want to be able to place a pumpkin, then shear it. Then when I shear it, I want it to pop. So we could potentially use copper bulbs as like little T flip-flops. Let me grab a waxed copper bulb. Right, so here we can imagine if I do place the pumpkin, the light turns on, shear the pumpkin, light turns off, right? Of course, then when it breaks, it'll go back on. So that's potentially a problem. We kind of need, like, because then the lever, or not the lever, the piston will also trigger it once and twice. So I think we almost need it to happen every 4 times. I'm wondering if we can do that with, like, droppers somehow. We're just going to play around. We're going to experiment here. Let's see if we can get it to work. So the first time, how do we do this? The first time you place a pumpkin, let's say we have an item in here. We place a pumpkin. The item moves from there into maybe this dropper. Then the next time, the item moves from there into this dropper. Then, so 1, 2, 3. Well, wait, no, that doesn't work because we basically want We want it to move 1, 2, then trigger the piston, then trigger 2 more times somehow. How do we do this? How do we do it? All right, first time, we want nothing to happen. Second time, we want something to happen. All right, I just want to try the copper bulb thing just because I feel like it might get us somewhere. So if I do this, I can take a signal out of here. And then I think I want to like turn this on. But then that turns that on. Okay, my brain. How do we do this? We really only want to trigger this like one time. Right, so pumpkin, shear it, if we and then break it, and then piston retracts. I don't know. This is so silly to be spending this much mental effort trying to make a jack-o'-lantern farm of all things. But I'm invested now. I want to try and figure it out. So let's see. We place a pumpkin, that turns off. We shear the pumpkin, it turns on. We then have like some kind of rising edge. Okay, here we go. Let's try some crazy stuff. Let's put a repeater here on maximum speed. Right, so that does trigger that, but it's a little bit slow, and that should be good, I think. So from there, we can have our bulb, and then I guess we need to read a signal out of this, which is a little bit tricky in this particular configuration. So let's instead do this. We might be able to compact this later, but I just want to kind of see if this is even sensible at all. So from here, let's see, we've got this system that should, if I start with the light on, it should turn the light off when I place a pumpkin. Yep. Then turn it back on when I shear the pumpkin. And so we get a rising edge here. And so when the rising edge happens here, maybe we can use that to hit a piston. Let's try it. So I can make a simple little rising edge detector thing. It actually could work either way. So let's do it this way. And then let's have like that and this and a little bit of redstone dust like this. And now what we should get is a light that is mostly on. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Okay, so now it's off. If I place a pumpkin, nothing happens. Then when I shear the pumpkin, that light should flicker off. It didn't. Why not? That might just be because that redstone lamp is not a good way to detect that. So let's try instead. Let's do one of these, and let's do yet another torch. This is very silly, but we're just experimenting here. Right, so again, I want this. Fresh. Is the Egyptian music part of the game? That is my background music. I don't know why it's quite so Egyptian. There we go. It's supposed to be ambient. That got a little bit too thematic. Okay, so let's see. Let's try this again. So now this is ridiculous and over-engineered. If I place a pumpkin, that light does not turn on, but then when I shear this, that light should come on. Great. So in theory, if we have a piston here and like some glass or something, then maybe this will work. This is crazy. One of my shorts just appeared in your notes. That's funny. Okay, so we place the pumpkin. Nothing happens. Oh, never mind. Maybe this light's supposed to be off. Maybe this light's supposed to be off. Excuse me. Maybe this light's supposed to be off. I feel like I need to be thinking about this more and not just trying random stuff. But here, this is redstone on stream. You know, this is how it goes. So place the pumpkin there. Light turns on. Great. Nothing happens. Then we shear it. Perfect. Now the problem is the light came back on. And why did that happen? Oh, because, right, of course, because it popped it out of the way, turned the light back on. And I actually do want multiple signals, maybe. So maybe if I do that, then it'll just start working perfectly without any extra work needed, right? Let's try. All right, we get a pumpkin here. We shear it. Pops it. And now we've got a loop. Oh, no. Right, of course. We've got something going on here. I'm back to thinking that I need like some kind of 4 times detector thing. Because this is clearly not working. We either need like something to detect that we've had 4 different observer observations, or we need like something that's going to disable the system while the piston is pushing. So what would that entail? Disabling the system while the piston is pushing could mean somehow keeping this powered after the second time or something. Just having like a little bit of a cooldown. But I also want to make sure that I can keep doing this fast to make as many pumpkins as possible. Appreciate you joining. Have a good night. And thank you. It's very exciting. All right, so how do we do this? How do we do this? 1, 2, then pop. Somehow. Now maybe okay, here's something that I'm actually not sure about. Is a carved pumpkin a solid block? Like, can you power it with redstone? So for instance, here's a normal pumpkin and a carved pumpkin. So that definitely is solid, and so is that. Okay, so I can't differentiate between them that way. That would have been kind of cool, maybe. So can't do that. So instead, I think we really do need like 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe the way to do this, instead of using any of this, is to have like a bunch of hoppers going around in a circle. So if we have something like this, right? Here's 4 hoppers going around in a circle. And from each of these, we can be detecting out a signal when there's something in there. So for instance, if we put something in this first one, that's on, right? And then if I place a pumpkin, it moves over there. Then I shear the pumpkin, it moves there. Then, piston pushes, it moves there. Piston pushes again, it moves back. Something like that. So maybe that's a decent way to do it. And what we can do is essentially have, so like 1, 2, or maybe it starts here. Doesn't really matter where it starts. Right, so like the super trivial way to do this would be we have it start here, whatever item. Then once it gets here, it triggers a piston to break the thing. So let's try that. Let's see if it works. So just super trivial way of doing this. We'll try to compact this later if this works. Right, but it would be something like this, where we have a redstone line coming from here and heading up to this piston. So in theory, if I put a pumpkin here, it goes once, and then when I shear, it should pop it, and it should trigger 2 more times. And if it worked perfectly, it should be back here. Okay, that works. All right, let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, back here. Okay, yeah, maybe this is the way to do it. We can try to like compact this and make it look better. So for instance, maybe the goal is to get it to this one, because then we can have that coming right out of there. I'll just empty out this for now. And I think I also want the piston to be a sticky piston, 1 higher, with like a trapdoor or something, or maybe a slab. Because I have a stone slab here. Let's try that. And then we'll have a hopper underneath, or mud underneath potentially. Right, but the kind of simplest version is something like that. And then we just need to take a signal out of here when there's something in it. And this should be as simple as putting some redstone dust right here. Right, and so now if we want this to work, we just start the item in here, because now this thing's going to tick 4 times. First time the item moves here. Second time, which would be shearing the pumpkin, the item moves here. And then that triggers this, which should do the piston, pop the thing. Perfect. Perfection. Everything works perfectly. That's the goal. Let's give it a shot. So, pumpkin, we got 1 tick. Shear it, we got another tick. And then pumpkin in there. Perfect. Where'd the seeds go? I thought we get seeds. And now will it work again? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Okay, so we are getting seeds. Sometimes, it seems. So if I close this in just to make it a little bit more closed in, we could replace this with mud if we wanted or something. Doesn't really matter. So now what I want to do, I think, is put a little bit of an item filter on here. Just a super simple one. So that seeds... I mean, I don't care about seeds at all. I could try to do... I guess one way to do it that might be good, actually, is if I have a chest here, then I could theoretically have like a seed filter and a pumpkin filter. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to do 2 little item filters here. Super simple ones. We'll just have comparators And then we're just going to use my classic, not mine, but like the classic item filter design that works very well in Bedrock Edition that I use for everything all the time, which is quite simple. Bada bing, bada boom. Perfect. Throw this dust here, all like that. And then we can grab some placeholder items. And we can grab some carved pumpkins and some seeds. And now we should be able to do like pumpkin goes there. Seeds go here. This does not overflow. Excellent. And then we can have seeds going like, you know, into a dropper that's just going to dump them into lava or something. I don't need the pumpkin seeds at all. Oops, I broke the hopper that I didn't mean to break. Oh no. All right, we can do that with air. And then now this one, we want to do something a little bit more fun, which is have it go into a crafter. Because what I want to be able to do is just put torches in here and have it automatically craft my actual jack-o'-lanterns. And the way I think that that will work is, I shouldn't have done this until it was ready, but that's fine. So we'll have another hopper with like torches going in. Let's put a bunch of torches. And then we should be able to, I think if I should have just not made these yet. Okay, so the crafting recipe should be a pumpkin, a carved pumpkin like that, and then a torch underneath, I believe. Yes. Okay, cool. So we can just have a bunch of torches going in there. That should fill up this. And then whenever we get a pumpkin, it fills up this. Right? So let's make sure it works. Let's make sure it all works. Let me grab some extra seeds as well, just to make sure this is all going according to plan. Should stop at 40? Why is this at 41? All right, should stop at 41? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so if we empty this all out now, I got too much stuff in my inventory. So we should now, if I do the pumpkin thing, grab a pumpkin, grab some shears. If this all works, we should get nothing there. Then I shear it. Then it pushes it. I get the seeds here. Perfect. And I get that carved pumpkin here. Perfect. Now the question is, how do I then power this? And maybe, actually, it should be as simple as this, I think. Right? Well, does that power that? If it comes on? Right? Like if let's pop a chest here. And let's start from scratch again. So if I do, I keep putting on the pumpkin. If I throw pumpkin here, then shear it. Did it do it? Okay, so we get seed here and jack-o'-lantern there. Amazing. I think this is pretty much it. You know, the last thing we could do, I suppose, is have like some lava here. Leave. Lava. Have some lava here. And then whenever this gets anything inside it, we just actually can be even simpler. because there's not going to be very many of these coming in very fast. So we can literally just do, whenever there's anything in here, we do something like that, and it trashes it. Right? So let's try again. Fresh inventory, all that. Pumpkin and shears. Pop a pumpkin in there. Make it into a jack-o'-lantern. We lost our seeds, so maybe we want like this just to make sure we get everything. Right, something more like that. And so I would basically come and like stand here. All right, I come and stand here. I put a pumpkin in. That seemed to work perfectly. This seemed to work perfectly. I guess it didn't get the seed that time, but let's try this. So I come here. I place a pumpkin here. Nice. I shear it. Pops it out. I heard the seeds go in the lava, and I should have a jack-o'-lantern there. Amazing. It's working. So now the only thing is like, should I also try to have those jack-o'-lanterns come up and like fill a barrel? You know, that could be kind of fun. And I think so. So let's try that. I think that should be pretty easy. We can just do some little elevator here. And I don't think this even needs to be that complicated. We can probably just do a little makeshift one. So basically, whenever anything comes in here, we want to trigger this dropper to push it up here, then this dropper to push it up here, then this dropper to push it up here. So we can just kind of hack it with something like, I mean, I guess like the kind of proper way to do it would be to use observers. So I guess we will do that. It should be simple enough. So if we have observers like this, oops, I fell. We can make a little item elevator. And then all we need to do is have, whenever something happens here, it triggers like something here. So I think this can be pretty simple, just like that. I think that should work because that will then trigger the dropper. The observer will see that. It'll do all of them up into the barrel. Let's give it a try. Just make sure we got nothing in here that we don't want. Cool. All right, so we pop a pumpkin in here. Then we shear it. In that case, we got the seeds, which is fine. And we should have a carved pumpkin or a fully lit jack-o'-lantern in here. It did not work. Okay, where is it? Where'd it go? Okay, it's still in there. So I think it probably just triggered this too fast. So let's do that. So we'll see how fast we can get it, but we'll start with it a little bit slower. All right, pumpkin, shear. Oh, is it here? Nice. Jack-o'-lantern. Perfect. That's awesome. So then, can we make it a little bit faster? Let's see. 1, 2. Okay, so that works. That works great. We're definitely losing some seeds, which is not the worst thing in the world because I don't actually want them. But I do wonder if like having them fly all over the place might cause issues. It's probably fine though. And then I think the only other thing that's like worth doing probably is having like, let's put a barrel here for the torches. And that way we can have an input for these torches. And I think it should be as simple as doing this. We'll get a hopper going into that. I don't love the barrels being right next to each other. This is silly because it's like just a dumb aesthetic thing. Maybe we do a chest. Nah. It would be fun if I could have the barrel be like here, but I don't think that will work. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but just a little bit. I guess like that looks maybe better. Yeah, so then we put torches in here. The torches in here should all go down to the crafter, which is great. And then any pumpkins that we get from going there and then there should arrive here. Perfect. And then any seeds get trashed. All right. It's totally over-engineered, but it works. What I'm wondering now is, how do we incorporate this? I'm not entirely sure. Like, it could be, we could have, you know, another barrel here, for instance, and like all the pumpkins from the pumpkin farm are coming down into this or something. This is so over-engineered for something so silly. Yeah, I don't know. Something like this, maybe. Oh, I think that works. I guess, like, regardless of this craziness, which is kind of unnecessary and over-engineered just generally, a starting place is going to be having a pumpkin farm anyway, right? So I guess if I do this kind of a thing, I could tile these all together. And in theory, we could have like, yeah, the observers. There could be any number of different observers that are all just, I guess we don't even really need, we could just have redstone up here. I mean, I don't hate that idea. It would trigger more of the pistons around, which would be good. So yeah, all right, let's just start by building that. Get a bunch of pumpkins flowing in. I could even do like melons too if I want, but I don't think it's really necessary. I don't ever need melons. I've never needed a melon in my life, if I'm being honest. So let's just build some silly little pumpkin thing and get some pumpkins flowing in. Be right back for 1 second. All right, so the first question to answer here is, where do we build the pumpkin farm? And one argument would be put it somewhere here in this castle. Like, I do already have some passive farms here. Like, for instance, we have sugarcane and bamboo that just flow in to these storage silos constantly whenever this area is loaded. And where that is, if we take a peek behind the horrifying redstone curtain, you can see we have this little sugarcane and bamboo farm here, which is just creating a little bit, just enough to always have some on hand. So I could do pumpkin stuff back here. We've also got like a chicken farm here. It's just, the thing is, it's a nightmare back here. There's no room for anything. And I kind of don't want to keep building stuff in that area because it's scary and I don't want to deal with it. So I think the industrial area feels better to me as a place to do it. So we're going to have to grab some pumpkin seeds. I guess I have pumpkins. I have enough pumpkins to get some. Oh, I have actually seeds. Nice. All right. So that should be fine. I'll grab a bunch of dirt to make farmland. I'll grab my hoe as well. I need observers and stuff. That's all my redstone box. That's fine. Hoppers. I think we have everything we need, honestly. It's just a bunch of pistons. It's crazy that I've never made one of these before. Oh, here, let me flip this, actually. It's crazy that I've never made a pumpkin farm before. But I've just never needed it. Like, what's the point? I guess for jack-o'-lanterns. But I have as many sea lanterns as I could ever need. Because I have a guardian farm. One thing that I have done here is, this used to be just mud production on this side and clay on this side, but I added the dripstone underneath here now as well, so that we're able to get this mud baked into clay as well, because I need a ton of clay. And let me actually grab some. If I grab my little clay spade here, I can grab all these clay balls, because I need so many bricks to build all of the structures that I have planned for this industrial area. And it takes a lot of clay to make that many bricks. So let's start by grabbing these. I guess I should also, replenish it, which is relatively simple. We just have to, it's a little bit of a manual process to break like these certain specific spots to let the conveyor belt do its thing. This is the only flaw in this system. The only flaw. The only inefficiency. Right, so then if I grab a bunch of dirt from my little dirt pile here, I think about 2 stacks should do it. Then I can start placing the dirt against here, and this machine turns it into mud. If you haven't seen this before, once it runs out of water bottles to make all this dirt into mud, a little minecart will head up the water tower and get some more water bottles, refill them. There it goes. There goes the minecart going up the water tower to get more water bottles, which I think is a fun little detail. Oh, it's getting dark. And similarly, there's the empty bottles get piped up the center of the waterfall or water tower from a different minecart. So we're just making a ton of mud. It's all going here. Hey, we're back with more water bottles. Perfect. Hopefully just in time. The timing is all kind of done. It's perfectly so that you just have enough. All right, so we can get rid of the extra dirt that we have. You can see minecart's going up to get more water. I do love that detail. It's getting dark, so I kind of want to sleep. I'll pop a little bit of extra mud in here. We'll take a nice look at our ship in the distance. Ooh, what a beautiful ship. And we'll head back over here. I can get rid of my clay spade, which I don't need at the moment. And you can see these like pallets are full of mud again, and they're all going to be baking into clay now, which will help me get all the clay balls I need to make all the bricks that I need to eventually turn all these vague outlines into actual brick buildings, kind of like this style. This is still very much a work in progress. There's a lot more detailing that I want to do, but starting to get an idea for how this whole area is going to look. And there's still more that needs to be done to tie it in thematically with all the like spruce wood and stuff that is over here in the industrial area that also then starts to lead into the stone bricks that lead into the castle. I think there's little ways I can tie that together. But it's going to be an exercise in just kind of doing whatever feels right and then adapting, adjusting, tweaking until it all is perfect, which will be a long process. I also like probably eventually want to bury these random redstone lines. But because we have all of this clay, I might as well dump it in to the super smelter here. So that'll cook that up and that'll be perfect. So now let's make a little pumpkin farm. And I think maybe over here is the place to do it. Like I could do it here, but we might not be able to fit that many of them. Maybe I do it. Maybe I just do a big pumpkin farm right here. Yeah? Sure. Why not? Let's do it. Let's build it. So we need a redstone for sure. We need all these hoppers. We're going to need a bunch of pistons, bunch of observers as well. Redstone dust as well. Is that it? I think that's it, right? We don't even need water, we figured out. At least in theory. We just need farmland, seeds. Oh, we need mud as well, actually. So let me go back over here to this mud pile and grab some of this mud. Hopefully it stacks enough. And yeah, I think this little corner is just going to be our pumpkin farm. So it probably doesn't need to be this big. I could probably put it right here and it would be sufficient. But I don't want to like make it too difficult to do detailing and stuff. So I'll put it back here. But we'll just do it super simply. And how do we do this? Just a bunch of hoppers? Like this, is this going to be so simple? Like one chest? Yeah, I mean, here, let's just put a chest here. So you walk in here, maybe you come this way. Here's the center of this. Maybe we literally just put that right there. It's crazy. Double chest right there? I don't know. Sure, why not? And then we'll just have a bunch of hoppers in like a large square. This is not going to be the most efficient farm ever by any means. But I don't think it needs to be. Let's make it a bit bigger. This should be good. All right, let's get rid of this silly little line here and move this chest back slightly. Okay, so this will be our pumpkin farm. Do we have anything in here? No. So in theory, all of these will eventually make their way into that. And then all we need to do now, I guess, is I guess I didn't really need all these hoppers because only some of them will actually have mud on top of them, but whatever. So now we just alternate. We do like a checkerboard pattern of mud, I think. Like that. And then if we do dirt in all the other places, we can plant pumpkins on the dirt. Oops. Right, so here's pretty much what we've got. And now I just need to like till these and put pumpkin seeds in. And I guess they don't need water to stay alive if there's seeds planted. We'll see if that's true. It seemed to work that way in creative, but we'll see. Yeah, okay. So there we go. And then... Oh, no. Interesting. Oh, did I just jump on it? Maybe I jumped on it. I forgot about that, that detail. Okay, so let's now do some observers out of these pumpkin things. Oh, it's going to be annoying to place the pistons, isn't it? I should have done that first. All right, we'll crawl around. We'll figure something out. So if I do observers out of all of these pumpkin plants, then the observers will detect whenever the pumpkins grow. And then I can have pistons that actually just push and pop the grown pumpkins out. And as long as they land on the mud, then we'll get the pumpkins. And if any don't land on the mud, I don't really care. I think it'll be fine. I'm not worried about not getting enough pumpkins here. So let's see. Can I fly into this? Yes. Okay, perfect. Then I can do this. I love being able to crawl like this. For a long time, you couldn't do this in Bedrock Edition easily. Now you can. It's just so convenient. All right, there's all of that. Man, this really is the simplest farm ever, isn't it? I'll put some glass around the outside just for fun. Not that it's really necessary. Because again, I'm not too concerned about efficiency here, but we'll do it anyway. I don't think I'll need that much. Okay, so let's just do glass. All right, I also need to put redstone on top here. So that whenever... Oh, no, I missed one. There we go. Okay, so I just do redstone all around here. Whenever any of these observers detect any of those plants changing, it'll pop, like... Realistically, it'll probably pop all of them, which is fine. Again, I'm not concerned with making, like, the most perfect or, like, lag efficient or what have you type of farm here. I just want something that works and gets me a bunch of pumpkins. And this should work. Of course, it'll take probably 20 minutes or so to get the first few coming in. So we might not actually be able to see the fruits of our labor, the literal pumpkin fruits of our labor, for a while. But that's okay. I guess I'll put my hoe away. There it goes. And we pop our boxes back in. Beautifully organized as always. Put our ender chest back in the bundle. And there you have it. We made a little pumpkin farm. We made like the silliest, simplest pumpkin farm imaginable. Oh, something happened. Okay, yeah, some of them grew a little bit, and so a bunch of pistons triggered. So obviously they all need to grow to like full age, which I would guess is probably 20 minutes, because like usually things like this in Minecraft are 20 minutes. So I'm not necessarily going to just sit here and watch this do nothing for 20 minutes. But it is a good sign that like the observer did detect that growth and did pop the pistons. So I kind of want to see it happen one more time just to be sure it works. Come on, do the thing. Do the thing. Somebody grow. Thing is, it's not going to happen for the till the next random tick. There you go. Nice. Okay, it worked. Yeah, so in theory... Oh, you know what I just realized? I was a little bit nervous that if a pumpkin ever landed on the farmland instead of the mud, it wouldn't get picked up. But farmland is actually also not a full block height. The mud looks like it is, but it isn't. It's like 1 pixel shorter. So I think actually no matter where any pumpkin lands here, the hoppers underneath should pick it up and put it in the chest, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. So I could then try to build that crazy contraption that automatically turns my pumpkins into carved pumpkins. It is totally silly and kind of pointless. But it is also kind of funny. Let's build it. Why not? Why not? Let's do it. Let's build a crazy, silly thing. Why not? Okay, so we need hoppers for it. We need redstone, obviously. Torches, all this good stuff. We always need all this stuff. We're going to need some droppers. We don't need dispensers. We weren't able to use the shears to automatically carve the pumpkins, which is too bad. We do need one crafter, of course. We need sticky piston. Just one, I guess. Grab some chests as well. Were there observers? Yes, there is that one observer. And then, yeah, this should be it pretty much. And so maybe like, I don't know, where do we build it? Do we build it here or here? This has like a center. Let me sleep. Let me sleep on it. Let me sleep on it. I also kind of don't want to build it underground for no good reason. I kind of want to have it be above ground. I don't know if that's silly. Not a ton of room here. The thing I built was kind of silly. But all right, let's just get going. Let's just see if we can throw it together. It really doesn't matter. I'll just put it here. I don't know. I don't have any other plans for anything here. Maybe I'll, you know, if I don't end up liking it here, I'll move it. Should be fine. I'm second guessing everything now. Do I really need the crafter and all that? I could just bulk craft them with torches, right? Because you can bulk craft them. It's like fun, but it is totally over-engineered. Maybe I'll actually just build the little system that pops them off. And I'll just do that right here, and it'll be even simpler. Maybe it's less fun, but let's just do that anyway. It just doesn't need to be that over-engineered. It's just kind of silly to do that. So I think if this wall is extending out, then like it's almost like this is going to be the center. So maybe you come in here and then, yeah, you come in here, place a pumpkin in the wall. Oh, let me get some building materials. Like, for instance, some cobblestone, which I'll use for all my building stuff for some reason, just because that's what I'm doing here in this area. But let's see. So, yeah, and we'll just do this in the most simple form possible, because it's not that serious. All right, we'll have a hopper. So you come stand here, you place your pumpkin, you do your thing. Have a hopper here, hopper here. We'll have that observer there. And then we'll have our little, like, four hopper system that just does, like, a little loop to count 4 times. We just want to be able to count to 4. Oh, we got something in here? Yep. Fine. Cool. So we got our little thing going. We can pause this. What are you making? So I'm making a very silly thing. So what we just did here was build a pumpkin farm, which I never made a pumpkin farm before. Turns out it's pretty simple. You just have a bunch of pumpkins growing, and then as soon as their stems grow, the observers detect that. We've then got bunch of redstone up here, a bunch of pistons. Eventually, I just built it, so it's going to take some time for them to fully grow. But once a pumpkin grows onto some of this mud, then the observer will detect that. It'll pop these pistons, and the pistons will push the pumpkins. It'll break them into an item form. They'll fall through the mud or the farmland, land in the hoppers, end up in this chest, and then I get a bunch of pumpkins. What I'm building now is a thing so that I can quickly turn those pumpkins into carved pumpkins. Because to make a carved pumpkin, you have to manually shear it. There's no way to do it automatically, unfortunately. I tried to see if a dispenser could shear a pumpkin automatically, and it can't. So basically what I'm making is such a silly, pointless system where you put a pumpkin in here, then you shear it, then it will pop it off, and the carved pumpkin will go into this chest. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I'm working on filling my light sources shulker box, and I need a bunch of lit jack-o'-lanterns, because for some reason I've decided that I want to have a full stack of lit jack-o'-lanterns in my light sources box. So that's what we're doing. It's very silly. But once I have a bunch of carved pumpkins, I can just craft a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns using torches and the pumpkins. So let me grab a crafting table. I'll put this right here for now. So basically, you'll come in here, you place a pumpkin. I'm going to need a pumpkin. Come on, grow a pumpkin. And basically, the way this will work is the first time you place a pumpkin, the observer will detect that, and it will move an item around like one space. So it'll move from here to here. Then when you shear the pumpkin, it will move from here to here. And then from there, we'll be able to detect that there's an item in this hopper. And we'll just take that signal and just have it travel upwards like that. And from there, we want to have it push a piston. That's right here. Yeah. So we'll have it push a piston that's right there. This won't work yet, though. I need to make one little change because I need some redstone here, right? So that when this torch comes on, it redirects into this piston, it'll push it. And then I need like a slab or something. Let me use, I'll probably decorate this later, but let me use like a brick slab, because maybe that will look cool. Grab some bricks from here too. I need more bricks. I'm cooking. I was trying to cook some clay. I'm not sure if it cooked. Okay, cool. Yeah, actually. I can craft some more bricks. All right, let's get a bunch more bricks. Nice. So we'll make like a little silly pumpkin thing here. We'll do that like that. I'll make this a brick too, actually, just so that it looks nice. We'll do brick there. We can then close this in. I guess I'll go like this. Nice, a little pumpkin, a little silly pumpkin thing. I'll probably put like a trapdoor here or something. Let's do it. Let's grab a, what do we want to use? Copper or acacia or jungle? What am I using over here? These are, oh, okay, those are acacia trapdoors. Maybe I'll do acacia. I should have some acacia in my wood box. And indeed I do. So we'll put a little trapdoor here. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. We can also actually put one here, maybe. Sure, why not? Okay, so now, in theory, this actually should work, but I need a pumpkin. But my pumpkin farm isn't growing me pumpkins yet. Let me go grab a pumpkin from my reserves. We'll head over to the castle real quick. where I have got, I think I have a couple pumpkins here. Nice. Okay, I'll grab a few. This is the industrial area. It's majorly a work in progress, as you can tell from all the silhouettes and stuff. But the goal is to have it start to look more like this. This area still needs more detail, still needs a lot to be done to make it look better, honestly. But the goal is to have this area kind of feel thematically similar to this. These outlines obviously are just very rough kind of guidelines for where I want to put buildings, but there's a lot of work to be done. So in theory, let me grab my shears, my malevolent scissors. In theory, if I put a pumpkin here, that should have triggered that observer once. And then when I shear it, nice. Okay. And then we had a carved pumpkin in here and seeds. Nice. So let's see if it works again. It's working perfectly. Amazing. So I can just tidy this up a little bit. Okay, yeah, some of the seeds fall through. I'm not too worried about that. I don't need the seeds at all, so it's kind of unnecessary. Let me just... Actually, I guess because this pushes, maybe I'll do something more like this to power the piston. Yeah, that way there won't be like an air gap when it pushes, in theory. Nice. Yeah, that works perfectly. Okay, great. Look at that, carved pumpkin farm. And then all I need to do is manually craft carved pumpkins and torches to get jack-o'-lanterns. And I should, it's in no time, have all the jack-o'-lanterns I'll ever need. Amazing. Let me replace this with brick too, just so it looks nice. Put some bricks. Yeah, put some bricks all around here, just to make it look nice. Beautiful. Look at that. Little pumpkin thing. Little silly pumpkin thing. We could even like... If we're feeling real ambitious, we could try to put a little item frame. I have invisible item frames because I use a resource pack. So if we want, we could even put a jack-o'-lantern on the floor over here, I think. That's kind of silly, but it works. I wish it were standing up though, you know? Make it even more unnecessary. You should have it dispense one pumpkin from the pumpkin farm so it auto refills your inventory. True! That's such a good idea. That is such a good idea. So yeah, so every time it also like, maybe there's a pipe above the head or something and it drops one. That'd be so silly, but so perfect. That's a great idea. All right. I don't think I love that, but that's all right. Yeah, such a silly thing. But hey, I'm going to get a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns, which is great. That's all I need to fill up my light box. All right, well, I would consider this a success. I really like the idea of automatically dispensing one. I'll probably tinker around with that a little bit. I can feel myself losing my voice a bit, so I think I'm going to call it here. Thanks to everybody who tuned in for this. I hope it wasn't the most ridiculous, silly, pointless stream you ever did see. But I'm glad that we made a little something. And I am very curious to see what my actual rates are for this pumpkin farm. I assume once they're all fully grown, they'll start to come in a bit faster. So we'll see. And maybe we can check in on that next time. But appreciate everybody joining, especially if you're new. Come back next time. I stream pretty much like every week, sometimes more than once if I'm feeling real ambitious. Sometimes I put out videos. Check out the videos on the channel. I put a little bit more effort into those sometimes, so they get a lot less views than the shorts. So check them out, and you might enjoy them. And yeah, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Until next time, thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely evening or whatever time it may be for you. So long.